Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors. It's Wednesday and it's Underwater Wednesday and we're back in the pool.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been in the pool, shooting an Underwater Wednesday episode in the pool. And today we are talking about the Fat Ika. not the Fat Mark, the Fat Ika. A Gary Yamamoto bait.
You like those.
I'm a big fan of Gary and all of his products, and this is a bait that I think a lot of guys know, but we're going to show it that you can actually fish backwards, and it's actually better fishing it backwards. So we're going to show you how to fish it right side up and upside down. Stick around, guys. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher.
I'm Megan Fuller.
So we're in the pool and we're fishing the Fat Ika. And Megan, this is a bait, I think it's pretty widely known that this bait actually has a place being fished backwards. Gary came up with this. And the quick story, when this bait first came out, before it actually first came out, and I was fishing with him in the back of the boat. I was a co-angler at that time.
Right.
I was throwing just a wacky rig Cinco. I ended up beating him. He was in the front of the boat as a pro.
He loves this story.
I love this story. And he was throwing this bait, okay? And I caught more weight than he did. I ended up taking 5th in that tournament.
But it's still a good bait.
Oh, it's a great bait. And he caught fish. I just caught more of them. And this was a prototype of his, so he really wanted to throw this bait. But it was so great to go up on stage and say, I beat Gary using his bait. I used the Cinco, he was using this one, which at the time, like I said, was a prototype. So anyway, the Fat Ika is it's a tube looking bait, but this isn't a tube bait. It's a solid chunk bait. And then it's got that tube type, flare at the end, the tentacles at the end. Solid bait, and it's solid just like the Cinco or anything else, salt impregnated, so that it sinks pretty readily even without a weight.
Are you eating that one too?
No, but if you did, it would taste just like a Cinco. Okay, and so traditionally, you would rig the bait by coming in through the head.
Okay.
A little 1/4 ounce, come out, feed the bait down, put your little EWG part of the hook, the offset part of the hook, into the nose of the bait. Just like that, and then take your hook part and insert it so that it was like that, and you'd have your bait rigged like that. Here, I can do that real quick. And there you go. Okay, so that's your bait. Front line coming off of here, like that. Okay. And you'll see in the footage that you were taking that bait will slowly fall down. It'll be kind of level as it's falling down. You can twitch it, it'll move, and it's a good bait just like that. Now, granted, if I was throwing it personally, if I was throwing it this way correctly, right side up, if you want to call it that, I would probably put a weight on it, because I would want either a weight or maybe a shaky head so that it was standing up on the bottom, okay? But what we're gonna see as we continue is that what we did is we actually rig this backwards. So we're gonna put the hook through the back part, through the tentacle.
Okay.
Same kind of thing, just run it through, put the offset part of the hook in there. Now the line is coming out of the tentacles, and I'm setting my hook right at the nose of the bait. So now it's being pulled this direction, okay?
Okay.
What this does, and you'll see this in that footage, is that as it falls, it's actually falling away from the angler towards the fish. So if I'm skipping this bait under docks, it's actually, if this is the dock, it's actually coming in under the dock towards the fish. I pull it out and I give it slack and it goes right back to the fish. So if you've got a fish sitting there, it's actually coming towards the fish. You pull it away, the fish starts to move and it comes back towards the fish. And any bed fish, it's nosing down onto the bed,
Okay.
coming up and then going right back to the bed. This is a bait that I think now is a great time to be throwing this bait, either for under docks, fish that are fry guarding. So they, you got the male fish and they're guarding the fry that are up on the top or near the bed, and this comes down into that ball of fry. This is and boy, I tell you, the green pumpkins and the green pumpkin purples and things like that has that imitator of a small little bluegill coming down, into the nest or something like that. And so it's a very, very good bait to use. And I highly recommend, as you're watching this footage, that you give it a shot rigging it backwards and try that weightless, skipping it under docks, anything, anywhere you would normally fish a Cinco. This is a great bait to throw in place, near stumps, things like that. Same kind of a situation.
Right.
Megan, we're gonna talk more about the Fat Ika, but I want to interject real quick to hit the subscribe button right there, and hit that notification button. That way you get notified when our episodes come out. We put episodes out Monday through Friday, but get the
5 o'clock.
Well, actually, this week we've been putting them out at 4. We're moving it up to 4 o'clock. Yeah,
Okay.
It's interesting that you brought that up. Yeah, we moved it up to 4 o'clock as of Memorial Day.
Just kidding. I saw that. I knew that happened.
You're still you can watch them at 5. It doesn't matter,
Exactly.
but you'll get notified at 4. So guys, hit the subscribe button. Let's get back to talking about the Ika and watching it in the pool.
In the entry thing, you said that it's upside down, but
Yeah.
it's not like a brush hog where there's like
Right.
one side up and one side down. Like this is
more backwards to what we would consider. The line coming, normally you would see the line coming here and the tentacles being down here. We're saying, instead of upside down, I should have said backwards.
Okay.
We're fishing this backwards so that when it gets thrown in, it'll actually swim away from the fisherman towards the fish. You're pulling it backwards and then it's going right back towards them. Right, just like that.
So is there a downside to doing it this way?
There's not a downside to rigging it that way. There is one downside that I've found in my experience fishing this bait that I will say is a slight downside, and that is this is a chunky bait. You can see how thick that is.
Yeah, it is.
And that has a tendency to, especially, I throw this on spinning gear. So when I get bit, I am really setting the hook on this because there's a lot of plastic there. You have to deal with a lot of that plastic.
The fish could just latch onto that and not even get the bait, right?
Or the plastic gets in the way of really getting a good hook set. And
I thought
since
of that
you're not,
as soon as I saw it.
well, look at you, you're getting good at this stuff. And obviously, if you were using a bait caster where you could really drive that hook home, that would be a better situation. But again, having a tendency to use this on spinning gear more than bait casting gear. But you can this has definitely got enough weight, even though you're throwing it weightless, to try and use bait casting gear on it and just to flip it in and things like that. But that would be the one downside, is because of the bulkiness on it, you really gotta drive that hook. I recommend using a 4/0 EWG hook. That gives you enough gap. You can see the gap here, so that gives you enough gap in that hook. There we go.
That is a pretty heavy duty hook.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy duty hook, and one, and nothing smaller than a 4/0 for this bait. This is a 4-inch Fat Ika bait.
So wait, do you keep it like this?
Yeah, you keep it like this, but the whole point, no, you keep it like this, but
okay.
when the fish bites it, it will slide down and give you that hook.
Okay.
But you do have a lot of plastic there that can get in the way of a good hook set. Okay, that's the one downside that I would say about throwing a Fat Ika. It's fat.
That's just a downside to the bait itself, not do it this way instead of flipping
Correct.
it. Regardless if it's right side up or backwards.
It's still a fat bait.
It's still a fat bait.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Guys, thanks so much. And someone actually said stay channeled to me yesterday, which was very exciting. So, stay channeled.
Take care, everybody.